All right, it's Mrs. Robinson, and today we're going over rational numbers. And we're going to be using these rational numbers, and we're going to be changing them, converting fractions to decimals. All right, don't run, don't worry, it's not as bad as you think. All right, it's actually very easy. If you have a fraction like 4/10, and I need to change to a decimal, all right? All I need to do is take the top number, it goes inside my house, and the bottom number goes on the outside. All right? A lot of people make the mistake and they want to put this one in and this one out. No. It's almost like it flips to the side. Okay? So I do long division. How many times can 10 go into 4? It can't. So add a 0. How many times can 10 go into 40? 4 times. 10 times 4 is 40. And that's 0. And I bring my decimal point up. Alright. Not liking how this pen is working for me. Just going to write over this. Okay. And that goes inside. And this goes on the outside. Okay, so my answer here is 0.4. That's it. Okay? A quick rule for anything over 10, or just take the number on top. And this is for tens and denominator. Take the number on top. Rewrite it and put a decimal point in front of it. All right. So here we go. I know 1/10 is 0.1. 2/10 is 0.2. 3/10 is 0.3. And I'm sure you can figure out the rest. All right, so you see that 10, you move it over, move that number on top over, put a decimal. That's it. All right, let's do another example. 5/8. All right, so if I was to flip this sideways, just flipped it sideways, I do long division. 8 can't go into 5, so I have 50. How many times can 8 go into 50? 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. Minus 2. I bring down to 0. How many times can 8 go into 20? 2 times. That's 16. 20 minus 16 is 4. Bring down to 0. All right. How many times can 8 go into 40? It's 5 times. All right. I have a decimal point here, so I need a decimal point right there. 0.625. Okay? And that's all we're doing is we're taking the top number and dividing it by the bottom number. I'm going to write that out. to convert from a fraction to a decimal, divide the numerator top number by the denominator. Bottom number. Okay? Why don't you guys try this one? Pause it. I'm not going to freeze, so I'm going to write one down and then you try it. Alright? So, 7/16. Pause the video and then you try that one and see if you get what I got. Alright? I'm going to kind of flip it to the side. So, 16. How many times can 16 go into 7? It can't. How many times can 16 go into 70? Alright, so 20, 40, 60, 80, I'm going to say at least 4 times. 4, 2, yeah, I'm going to say 4 times. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 1 is 4, and 2 is 6. Alright, 70 minus 64 is 6. I got a decimal here, so I need to make sure I got a decimal up there. And I'm going to keep going because I got a remainder down here. How many times can 16 go into 60? Well, I know it has to be less than this, so 3. Alright, so that's 18, that's 48, and this is 12. Another 0. How many times can 16 go into 120? So I'm going to say 7 times 2. So if you're not that good at multiplying or figuring that out, you might want to brush up on that. 2, 4, 7, 11, 8. How many times does 16 go into 80? And it's got 80 because I did that. How many times does 16 go into 80? 8 times. I'm sorry, 5 times. Where did I get 8 from? 5 times. 0, 3, and that's 8. Alright. So my answer is 0.4375. Alright? The other way that you can do this, a lot of people think it's the easy way, but if you don't understand the process, it doesn't even matter. You can use a calculator. And in your calculator, you can go, I'm grabbing my calculator. In my calculator, if my problem is, let's say it's 3/4, 3 divided by 4 equals 0.75. Oh, 3/4 equals 0.75. Alright? So that's the basics for going from a fraction to a decimal. I would like to teach you one more special rule before you go. If I have 1 over, okay, there's probably more than one more rule. If I have 1 over 3, I'm going to use my calculator to do this. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to do it the long way. I turn it sideways, so 3 and 1. There we go. I flip that sideways. And so how many times can 3 go into 1? It cannot. So I add a 0. If I put a decimal there, I put a decimal there. How many times can 3 go into 10? Go in there 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Minus 9 is 1. Put a 0, bring it down. How many times can 3 go into 10? 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Minus 9 is 1. Starting to see a pattern? How many times 3 1? 3 times. I'm not going to keep doing this. I figured out the pattern. So, since I have a pattern, I'm not going to keep writing, because if I have to keep doing this work, I need a way to represent that this is going to keep happening. So I look and say, what number keeps repeating, or what is my pattern? I keep seeing 3s. So I'm going to put 0.3. And I keep seeing just 3s, so I'm going to put a line over the 3 to say that's repeating. Okay? Here you go. To show that a decimal has a repeating pattern, put a line over the digits that are repeating. All right. So if I was to do one like this in my calculator, all right, so if I was to do, I don't know, 5, 6 in my trusty calculator, because that's what we like to do, use the calculator. 5 divided by 6, numerator divided by denominator. 0.8333333. I have only one 8, but I keep seeing a 3, so I'm going to write 0.83. I keep seeing that 3, so I'm going to draw a line just over that 3. Okay? Because only the 3 is repeating, not the 8. Okay? So now you know how to deal with repeating patterns. Next thing now this is the last thing I want to show you. Another rule, anytime you see a number over 9, you take the number on top, put it over here, and then put a repeating symbol over it. Okay? So 1 over 9 is 0.1 repeating, and 2 over 9 would be 0.2 repeating, and 3 over 9 would be 0.3 repeating, and so on and so forth. Okay? So we call this the 9s rule. Really, we call it Mrs. Robinson's 9s rule, but I'm sure I cannot take claim to this fame. So, if 9 is in the denominator, rewrite the number in the numerator, rewrite the number that is in the numerator, put a decimal in front and a repeating symbol on top. And the repeating symbol is the line over it. Okay? And this 9 rules goes for anything. If it's 11 over 99, I'm going to take that 11, put a decimal with the repeating. If it's 12 over 99, I'm going to write 12, put a decimal, and repeating. Okay? So if it's 1 9, one number's repeating. If it's 2 9s, 2 numbers are repeating. 3 9s, and so on and so forth. All right, so that's my information for rational numbers. I hope it was helpful. Have a great night.